Good morning, guys. I'm going to walk you through your lesson for the next 2 days. First thing you want to do is make sure that you leave this presentation open on your Chromebooks so that if you need clarification, you can either come back and rewatch the video or navigate through the instructions. All right, so your work today will be independent work. This is the standard that we're working on. This is a summative assignment for all of your work that you've done with the Crucible. And the idea is that by the end of these 2 days, you will have created an artifact that demonstrates this I can statement. Basically, I can determine 2 or more themes in the Crucible and trace how they are developed through conflict, characterization, and historical context. All right, this is a sample of the kind of project you will be putting together. This is called hexagonal thinking, and it's a way for you to group together details from the text and make physical and mental connections between ideas, characters, quotes, and historical context in order to demonstrate that you have thoroughly traced a theme, 2 themes through whatever text we're working with. So in this case, the example you're looking at on the screen has to do with The Great Gatsby, which we will read later in the semester. It's pretty straightforward. Don't worry, I will explain all the moving parts. And this is another example. If you're more of a visual learner, this is what your final hexagon might look like. You could add that additional element to your design. Okay, so let me walk you through all of the moving parts. You are not going to be working in pairs, you're going to be working independently, but you're seated in groups, so you're absolutely welcome to discuss your ideas with your shoulder buddies. However, discussing your ideas and copying somebody else's work is a completely different thing. All right, so you will basically pick a character from the play or a relationship in the play. You'll want to make sure that you've got on one hexagon the name of that character, or 2 hexagons if you're going to trace the relationship between John Proctor and Abigail, for instance, or John Proctor and Elizabeth, for instance. John Proctor would have 1 hexagon, Elizabeth Proctor would have the other hexagon. And then you'll work through a variety of other hexagons to build ideas and to trace those themes. We are going to start, before we even cut our hexagons up, you each have a packet in front of you that's comprised of 4 different pages of hexagons, and they will look like this. Sorry, I'm having to navigate lots of open documents. Okay, essentially your packet looks like this. I've supplied some abstract topics, I've supplied some character names and some important quotes from the text. You may use some of these, you may use most of these, you may end up using just a few and filling in your own. So notice on the last page and a half you have a number of blank hexagons. This is where you really shape your own project. Your job will be to, first of all, determine which character or characters you want to be analyzing, and you'll make sure that you've got their names written in one of these hexagons or 2 of these hexagons. You will also be thinking about important scenes in the play or the movie, and you'll place some of those either ideas or text evidence, quotes, details, other ideas from the film, from your understanding of the play itself, and from any of the historical documents that you studied to prepare for your reading of the Crucible. Now, I know that you all did you read sinners in the hands of an angry God and illustrated that version of hell, for instance. That was a historical document that was meant to give you background knowledge about the play. I feel certain that you probably also did something related to McCarthyism. So you want to have in these blank hexagons at least 2 hexagons for at least 2 of those historical documents. Again, that's not a hard and fast rule, but if you're meeting the learning target and the I can statement, you're pulling everything you know about the Crucible together to analyze 2 themes. All right, once you fill up your blank hexagons, at that point you will cut each of your hexagons out. Sorry, this is bothering me. You'll cut each of your hexagons into individuals. I've provided an envelope for each of you. Make sure your name is on that envelope. This task will take you 2 days to do. Once you cut them out, I would suggest that you start with that central character or that central character relationship, and you just play with your layout. Let's see, I'm going back to the slideshow. I am talking to myself. Somebody just came into the teacher lounge. All right, so what you'll do in your play session is just attempt to start to map out your ideas. I would suggest taking the full class period to work out your ideas, and it may take that long. Tomorrow when you come in, you'll be doing the written analysis element of this task. So once you're happy with your layout, say that you are good to go with this, notice that there are both clumps and there are also connections and little kind of satellite ideas. These should all be connected in some way. You won't have any actually not touching, like this example. That's a bad example. It's not my example. I got it off the internet. Don't judge me. Okay, so you will have groups of either pods of 3, you will have connectors, and you will have pods of, let's cap it at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's cap it at 9 since this example is 9. All right, so in your written component, we're looking down here at step 6. Once you've created your network and your connections and you're pretty comfortable with what you've got, you're going to glue your hexagons down to the provided paper. Now, you will need at least 2 pieces of the colored paper up on the front table because your maps are going to be that large. If you need 3 sheets of paper or 4, grab what you need, you do you. All right, once those are all glued down, tomorrow you'll be working on the analysis portion of this activity. If you have a pod of 2 or 3 ideas or characters, you will write a sentence explaining their connection. Your sentence must include all terms in that trio. If your chunk of hexagons is more than 3 but less than 9, I'm going to make that change now, you'll also need to explain the overall category that they fit under. So if you have a big clump of hexagons, what you're really looking at is a larger theme. And in addition to writing your sentence about your decision process, you'll also explain the larger theme that text evidence, the characters, the conflicts, the historical documents, what they all suggest. So here I'm going to add just a note to the instructions. You'll explain why you grouped them together, and you'll also explain the category or theme they fit under. I feel like that's pretty straightforward, but again, if you would like any further explanation, please knock on the door and come and get me. I'm happy to work with you individually. I'll circle the room. If I have student volunteers, I'll have them circle your room. And I just don't want you to feel neglected for the 2 days that you have a sub. Miss Minkham will be in the room this afternoon on campus at around 3:45. So I think it would be really awesome if you have the time, pop by and introduce yourself, and again, start building that positive relationship with your teacher, so that you feel better and so that she feels welcome when she walks into your room on Monday. Thanks, guys. Bye.